Alrighty, so we're gonna sit towards the front of our chair. So I know you can't see the base of me, but my feet are on the ground so that we have a grounded kind of position. And then from here, we're just gonna take a moment. We're gonna place our hands onto our thighs, and we're just gonna begin the slowest shoulder rolls. And I want them to be tiny, right? Like we're just getting started in this practice. There's no need to be going super intense. And just starting to notice what's showing up. So as we start this work, we're going to take a little bit of time to kind of just see where we're at, right, in a few different ways, so that we feel like we can lovingly address, areas that might be holding a little more tension and not judging them, right? Just understanding that they're there and just giving ourselves more information, more data. And so take some time. I sometimes like to alternate like right to left. It feels a little cruisy and nice. And start to take some deeper breaths, allowing the belly to really let go. Sometimes when we're sitting on the chair, we can kind of tighten or brace the core. Just simply noticing what's coming up. Just a few more breaths here, combination of both. And I love today's class. It is just so like, ooh, it's like luxurious. So I think you guys are going to love it. And then we're going to come back to a nice neutral position. So no need for perfect posture. The thing I'll ask is just be cognizant of making sure you're not hyper arching the back. But when we're in a neutral position, it's okay if you're not exactly like tailbone tucked, right? Now from here, we're going to bring the chin up just so it's directly out, right? So we're not slouching the chin down. And we're actually going to begin to push the shoulder blades back, expand the chest, and then allow them to very slowly come back. And repeating this motion. Now, what you'll often notice here is that on the return, the shoulders want to come back very quickly. And so just bring some intentionality to it, where as you return, you're going just as slow as when you're bringing the shoulders back and kind of pinching the shoulder blades. Once again, just noticing here, anything that's showing up, any tightness, or any areas that feel really good, really loose. Especially as you bring the shoulders back, you're going to feel a little bit of a pull around the collarbone area. So just knowing that's normal. And a few more breaths here. Your next one, go ahead and hold back, so pinching the shoulder blades. Maybe move your head just very slightly around, so not all the way to the side, but just to feel a little bit more of what's lighting up in the traps, in some of the neck muscles. Letting the belly expand, right? Not bracing. And keeping it isolated to the top body rather than shifting or swaying the obliques, the side of the body. We'll come back to a comfortable neutral position. Place your hand on your heart and just kind of notice what showed up for you and even those small movements. Maybe what intentions or areas that you would like to bring a little extra love to today. You're just noticing today or in general are feeling a little more tense. We'll go ahead and very gently start to roll the head down and around. And if this feels like it gives you any type of vertigo or any type of sensation that feels uncomfortable on the back, you can always roll down just halfway and roll back up, and then go down the other way and roll back up so you don't feel like you're craning your neck around. Just moving in one direction for now, unless you are doing that alternation. You'll continue to do that even as we switch directions. And at some point at the base of the movement, just allow the head to hang for a second. Don't worry about posture. Let the stomach go. Maybe even sway a little bit here. Feel your sit bones on the chair and making contact to the grounded surface underneath you. And very slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, bringing the head back up. And this time we'll move in the opposite direction, or you'll continue to alternate if that's what's feeling right for you today. Notice all the muscles that get engaged here, right? As you allow the weight of the head to come down. Even head rolls in themselves, done very gently, can feel like a massage, a little bit of a stretch. Some of our upper back muscles, sometimes even the triceps. So remembering that every somatic movement we do, right, has this kind of full body impact. You'll also feel your sit bones kind of shift in the chair. Once again, after you make your full circle, meeting at the bottom, the movement, chin down to chest, and just sway a little bit here. Just like this letting go. Very gently, vertebrae by vertebrae, bringing the head back up to center. You can keep the eyes closed. We're going to shift our head to the right. And then very gently shift to the left. And we're really not trying to push it here, right? We're trying to make this something where the body feels safe. It feels like we're willing to meet it where it's at. So if we find ourselves trying to crane a little bit too far, know that that's normal. And just give yourself permission to use this as a luxurious, joyful practice and not one where you have to really push or really stretch. And then once you're back to the right side, hold there, bring up your right hand, and begin to massage just gently around your neck, your traps. And keeping it gentle here, again, not trying to signal an intense massage. Sometimes it's as simple as just tracing your fingertips a little bit down the side of your neck. And release the jaw. Feel free to hold in any areas or massage, staying in one place for a little while. It's whatever you need in this practice. We're going to gently drop our right hand down first before gently bringing our head through center. And then after a pause, bringing the head over to the left, taking our left hand and same thing. Little massage here Might look different on this side, right? Depending on what feels good, depending on what it feels like you need today. Remembering to release the jaw, which can often tense. We're just pulling on some of these neck muscles, remembering that they're all connected through the jaw. We're going to come back through center. We're going to grab the tops of our ears. We're just going to do a couple of these. So we're going to look up and allow ourselves, with our ears held, to tip our chin up towards the ceiling. And then very slowly back through center, send the chin down to the chest. Back through center, chin up. And down through the chest. All the way down to where it feels comfortable. 2 more times. Once up through center. And then down to the chest. Maybe adjusting your ear placement or your hand placement on your ears, depending on wanting to explore some different sensations. And then heading up. And back. And back through center. Good. Take a moment to slowly allow the hands to come back down. Notice your feet once again on the ground, on the floor. A moment to take a few deep breaths. And now just observe what's shown up for you. So we've just done some exercises to kind of learn about where we are today. This is information that we can carry through the day. Just continue to support certain parts of our bodies that may be lighting up, whether it's just from sitting at a desk or because we hold tension consistently in those areas. Now we're going to take our hands and we're going to interlace them behind our back. And if you're sitting at the top of your chair, you should have enough space. And then from there, we're going to bring both of them interlaced to our right side. Now notice when you do this, there's a tendency, right, to arch the back. So just bringing the tailbone in a little bit more and bringing the chin up so we have a nice neutral spine. And from here, beginning to breathe. We're going to hold here for a little while. Give our bodies a chance to really let loose into this position. It feels a little awkward. You feel a little uncomfortable. Once you feel that you've had a little bit of time to loosen into it, and no rush on my end, I find it takes at least a minute for my shoulder blades to kind of drop here. You can begin to shift your head once again, left to right. Or even shifting the head up and back down. It's almost becoming exploratory here. Maybe dropping the head down and holding here for a moment and noticing the breath. Sometimes in this movement, we start to get some chest restriction, right? And so if at any point you need to unclasp, right? Take a deep breath. And then come back into the movement. That's absolutely fine. I think there's so much beauty in the pause, right? And in knowing that we don't have to just hold into something that's creating discomfort simply because we're being asked by somebody else. But instead that this is our practice to feel good, to feel joyful. So just honoring that. Making sure the jaw is unclenched. Again, with some of these neck exercises, we can tighten the jaw naturally. Remembering to keep the tailbone tucked a little bit, but if you're bracing the stomach to do so, let the belly out. Okay, so really letting everything be loose as you do this. Just a few final breaths. And then coming back behind the back, maybe stretch a little bit, allow the shoulder blades to pinch. And then moving over to the other side. Taking a moment on the other side to really allow the shoulder blades to drop, to allow yourself to get comfortable in the position. Let the belly go, let the jaw go. When you feel ready, no rush, you can begin to move the head side to side, up and down. Maybe you find an order that works for you. Or maybe you find that one or two directions just isn't right for you today. And you honor your body by either staying in stillness or only moving in the directions that are supportive for you. If you find a place that holds a lot of tension, you're welcome to kind of pause there. Allow yourself to feel it. And eventually coming back through center, going to do it one more time on each side. So taking maybe that nice stretch where you bring the hands out back behind you. Not aggressive though, just an opportunity to feel the chest expanding, feel the shoulder blades starting to drop. And if you need a break, you can also take your hands out for a second and just sway a little bit before moving into the next side. And when you're ready, clasping the hands behind the back and moving them together over to the right side. Now, depending on what you learned on the first time doing this side, you may decide not to take movements. You may decide only to take certain movements. But knowing that this is a practice of kindness and of allowing the parasympathetic system to come online. Sometimes, though, in these kind of contorted or a bit awkward positions, we can feel a little bit of overwhelm start to build in the body. And so there is a beautiful underlying practice here of learning to move through that overwhelm, learning to know when we need to pause what we're doing to allow that overwhelm to pass. Starting to teach our mind that that sensation just comes with new movements, movements that feel foreign. But we get to choose how we handle that. And no direction, no decision is less right, more wrong than the other, right? It's just about what your body needs today. And then final time, bringing the hands back behind the back. And then over to the left side. Maybe you just hold here, remembering to release the belly, release the jaw. And then maybe you do find gentle movement. With the head, the neck. Maybe you try some circles again. Noticing all the muscles that are contributing here. Using this to bring greater awareness into your body as a whole. Even to the point where you notice how your feet feel on the ground right now as a support as you move through these practices. Taking it nice and slow. And when you're ready, bringing the hands back behind the back and unclasping them. Bringing the hands forward onto the thighs. Just take a moment to sway. Notice. Understand that sometimes as we move into these spaces that hold tension, we can become very aware of that tension, right? But also knowing that through doing this practice, you're giving a gift to your body. One where you're allowing for, even if just the smallest release today, that builds into a greater release down the line. But also validating these spaces instead of rejecting them, right? When we have shoulder or neck pain, we tend to try and ignore it. We tend to yell at it in our minds. We're like frustrated. And really, it's just the body's way of communicating to us there's a need. And so as tension arises or as tension becomes more aware to you, seeing if you can meet that with at least a little understanding, if not a full-on kindness, right? We never want to force positivity or love towards our bodies, but maybe just starting to break into the idea of, the body would only be doing this if it was trying to tell me something. Everything it's doing is trying to protect me. Good. When you're ready, you can come back to a little bit more of a neutral spot. I like to rock a little bit in my chair. If you're on a wooden chair like me, it might be a little uncomfortable, but just a light rocking, feeling the feet on the ground. It's a moment to kind of shake it out a little bit. And maybe you find after a little bit of that tension buildup, you literally want to shake out the hands. Repositioning yourself if you need to get comfy again or you move forward on the chair. Taking a moment, just give yourself like a nice little face massage, little neck massage, like bringing some kindness on the other end of an exercise that's a little bit more opening, right? Rewarding our bodies for allowing us to kind of go there, to explore them. And then go ahead and place one of your pointer fingers, or both of your pointer fingers, but on each side of your jaw. And you're going to place it at a point where you kind of feel the medius part of the jaw. Closing your eyes, letting the shoulders drop, letting the belly go. And from here, we're just going to open and close the jaw very slowly. So begin by opening and then closing. Opening and closing. Now I'll let you take it at your own pace. You might find it's nice to do some little circles on the jaw, or even explore a different part of the jaw muscle that you want to kind of press into, almost as if your fingers were the hinge that your jaw moves off of. I always find one spot that's really interesting to me is kind of right underneath the earlobe, almost where the side of my jawbone starts to meet my neck. But everybody is different. Just figuring out what works for you, and notice if you're pushing really hard, see if you can let go a little bit, knowing that even just a gentle, soft touch has the ability to help to loosen the jaw without causing any discomfort or pain, so that we can make this an enjoyable practice rather than one that distresses the body. Remember your breath. Remember your feet on the ground. And then while keeping our fingers at a nice location that feels good for us as we explore the jaw today, we're going to open, and then we're going to place the bottom jaw out, so as if we had an overbite, and then place it in as if we had an underbite. And so I'm going to talk you guys through it. I'll show you this first time, and then I'll be talking through it, but you'll continue the motion. So opening the jaw, and then pushing the bottom jaw outward very gently. Holding here, or even massaging a little bit with the fingers. And then coming back to neutral. And then pulling the bottom jaw in. And massaging here. Then you'll repeat this, always pausing in the middle at neutral. And if you find that your arms need a break, like they're just kind of starting to get a little bit shoulders up towards ears, right? Always taking that break if we feel like it's just a little bit too much on our forearms. And usually that's an indication that we're pushing a little too hard into the jaw muscle. And so with understanding that it's a very human thing to do, we really want our jaws to loosen, right? The next time you come up after that break, see if you can just very lightly touch. And observe the sensations of the muscles moving underneath your fingers. And coming back to the neutral jaw. One big yawn or big exhale through the mouth. And then coming back to our neutral position. Take a moment, just notice what's showing up here. How are the shoulders and the neck feeling with some of the touch to the jaw? And then while once again being cognizant of a little tuck of our tailbone, we're going to bring our right and left hand together and our right and left forearm together. So almost like we're in a prayer position with a 90-degree. And from here, we're going to keep a neutral spine to start. And then very gently bow the head. And you'll notice a nice stretch in the trap muscles in the back of the neck. Coming back up slowly, just back to a neutral spine, so we're not sending the head upward. We're going to repeat this 4 more times. So allowing the head to drop. Feel that pull in the back of the shoulders. Notice again if the stomach is bracing or the jaw is clenching. And back up to neutral. Once again, head bows. And up to neutral. Just 2 more times here. Head bows. And to neutral. And last time, head bowing down. Maybe even rocking a little bit here just to get that extra little depth. Unless it feels deep enough as is for you, in which case, just holding still. And bringing the head back to neutral, very gently bringing the arms down. Once again, returning to alternating right to left very slowly, shifting the head. You might find you're actually craving just some stillness for a moment. You might find you're craving sitting back a little bit and stretching out because you've been at the front of your chair, right? And so we want to listen to whatever the body is asking us for and know that there's never a wrong way to go about these movements. There's never a wrong way to do what the body wants because the body always knows best. And then coming back to center. We'll bring our hands back behind the nape of our neck with our elbows out. We'll have them clasped. And our elbows will be out to start. Notice the shoulder blades trying to kind of creep up, drop them down a bit. And this is definitely one where we can extend the chest and kind of forget to tuck in a little bit, but I want you to be comfortable, not this kind of like perfect, tuck tailbone, tight core. So just whatever's comfortable, but isn't irritating your low back. Then slowly bring the elbows in towards the center of the body. And then very slowly begin to drop the head down. And you might find that your range of motion is a little bit less than mine in the beginning. You might find that you go deeper as you continue this movement. And coming back up. Very slowly through center, allowing the elbows to extend once again. And then when you're ready, bringing the elbows in, very slowly rolling down. Almost like you were creating a little circle with your body. And dropping down as far as you feel comfortable. Maybe swaying at the bottom, again, to give a little extra, to feel some of the hips light up, the sit bones. The base being so supportive of your upper body here. And coming back up through center. Elbows go out. We'll do this one more time. Elbows coming in. And if you notice any dizziness, either take a pause or just really slow it down, especially on your way back up. Notice if the jaw is clenching at the bottom of the movement. And coming back up slowly through center. Neutral spine, very gently moving the hands down. And here I'd like you to take any movement that your body is craving. So we've done a lot of stretches, a lot of tailbone tucking, right? I know mine always likes to twist a little bit, and I just encourage you to keep it slow. And the last thing we'll do, my favorite part, is a nice neck massage. And this we're going to do very gently. So we're going to bring both of our hands to our face, but we're going to move our fingers so they're kind of like in between our earlobes. So they're kind of almost split up a little bit. You may even have the fingers entirely behind the ears. You'll just kind of figure out your rhythm. And from here, we're going to pull so gently, so slowly. Almost like you're tracing your body until the hands come to meet in the center of the chest. And then we'll move back up and continue this motion. Notice if you're craving pulling even from a higher place, like all the way up on the forehead and pulling down. Allowing the jaw to stay open. Perhaps even moving the hands a little bit to the sides of the neck rather than in the front and pulling down here. Taking a few more of these, almost like you're pulling your face down to melt. On your next one, and place your hands for a moment. Last thing, we'll turn our head to the left. And bring our right hand up. And we'll just pull down the side. So head turned to the left, pulling down on the side of the right. Knowing when we turn our head like that, and this muscle protrudes here that you're feeling, we're stimulating vagal tone, but you don't need a lot of pressure to do so. Just really letting it be a gentle, loving experience. We'll place our hands down, come back through center first, and then turn our head to the right. Same thing, massaging down the left side of the neck. Letting the fingertips be soft and the hand, the arm be heavy. And then noticing the jaw, noticing if that right shoulder is kind of bracing at all, or if the stomach has begun to brace again. Again, no judgment. Just seeing if you can really let this be a soft, gentle, loose experience. And we'll come back through center, taking any last movement that you feel that you need up here, maybe a little squeeze on the arms, maybe a little torso twist, trapezes twist, right? Just whatever the body is asking for. And then you can very slowly make your way down to the ground, finding a comfortable position. And I will begin the visualization, the gut hypnosis shortly. I'll give you guys a few moments to find a comfortable position. Now remember, during this, you are always welcome to continue movement, to continue massage, to take anything else your body is asking for, shifting the knees, swaying the hips. And if you haven't closed your eyes yet, you can go ahead and do that now as you prepare to relax very deeply. And you can begin by taking several very slow, deep breaths right now, breathing in fully and deeply, breathing out slowly and smoothly. And each time that you breathe out, you can really empty the lungs completely. And each time that you breathe in, you can breathe in deep into your lungs, filling them from the bottom so that the stomach expands on the in-breath and contracts on the out-breath. Breathing as deeply and fully as you naturally did when you were younger, so that you can properly absorb the life-giving oxygen around you deep into each and every cell of your body. And you might notice how the body has already begun to relax. Perhaps the facial muscles are softening, the jaw muscles, the little muscles around the eyes, the scalp, the neck, all of them beginning to deeply relax. And perhaps your shoulder muscles are loosening. Just a sense of things calming down inside. And you can hear the sound of a deep, satisfied sigh of comfort, the way you might sigh with relief and comfort at the end of a long, hard day, as your arms and hands begin to feel comfortably heavy. And your legs and feet can begin to feel nice and sleepy and heavy, so that there is a wonderful sleepy heaviness in the arms and a wonderful sleepy heaviness in the legs. No need to make any effort to support yourself here. Just allowing the body the time it needs to completely rest, the way it does when you're entering a deep stage of sleep at night. And it can be a real relief to let go like this, to feel the stomach muscles, the back muscles, the muscles in the core of the body, all releasing and relaxing. And then you can find yourself relaxing twice as much as the relaxation in the body doubles. Twice as relaxed again, all the way down. And there have been many pleasant and enjoyable times in your past. There may be memories you particularly treasure, fond memories of vacations, holidays, times with friends, or with somebody very special to you. And your unconscious mind knows that embedded within many of these memories is a felt sense of health and well-being and vitality, times in your life when you had no symptoms whatsoever. when your system was calm and content, getting on with its job easily and effortlessly. And you didn't even notice, because when you feel healthy and content deep inside, it frees you to be able to get on with enjoying your life. And your inner mind can really remember the reality of being this way now, as it guides you back and back to a really enjoyable time in your life, a pleasant memory, and embedded within that time is health, well-being, and vitality that you naturally experience when you are like this once more. And you can really experience the reality of being this way, not just remembering the sights and the sounds of this time in your life, not just enjoying reliving this pleasant, enjoyable memory, and allowing the contentment, the smiles, the good feelings to flow through you more and more strongly, but also unconsciously remembering something more fundamental, something deeper. Your system remembering a different way of being, of things working effortlessly and naturally deep inside. Remembering what it's like to breathe a deep sigh of relief and deeply absorb this health and vitality from this time, as your system really begins to remember what it needs to remember and how to return to doing its job calmly and effortlessly. And as that continues to happen deep inside, you can allow yourself to relax even deeper still, as your unconscious mind prepares to make lasting positive changes deep inside, and to allow all parts of you that need to heal to genuinely open to being healed right now. Take a moment to be with this time in your life, this memory. And now, beginning to come out slowly of that deep relaxation, almost as if in stages, coming up further and further from the unconscious mind, feeling the body almost lift slightly off the ground, starting to become more present of the feeling of the ground underneath you, of the feeling of your body in this moment, deepening the breath, knowing that even as you start to come out of this unconscious state, the body can stay just as relaxed as it was while in it. Perhaps bringing some gentle movement, a soft sway, a little massage, a hand to the heart, a squeeze, a hug. And beginning now to come out even more, allowing yourself to start to move, to touch the ground beneath you, to orient yourself to the space, even with the eyes still closed. Making whatever final movement calls to you. And taking one final deep, deep sigh of relief. Before beginning to blink the eyes slowly, just letting some light in from the room around you. Until eventually the eyes open fully. And just lie there for a moment, taking in the space. Maybe a big yawn, another sigh, a deep breath and exhale. And very slowly listening to the speed that your body needs today. You can begin to come back fully into the room, perhaps sitting up. And on your own time, you can return back to the session.